and welcome to the BCM podcast. I am today's host, Brad Swail. Of course, I have Charles Blain to my that way. There he is, Charles Blain. Michael Searle's right there, and Michael Searle's favorite. I don't know, what is he? A foreign policy advisor, John Bolton.
He's just my favorite human. Period.
Period. Oh well.
I'm not surprised, considering how much you love bombing poor people in the Middle East.
Yes. It's virtuous.
It is virtuous when you, I mean, I've heard you talk about it. Like, you text me about this a lot, like of the devastation that we've caused in the Middle East, and you just like America flags, emojis. It's a little much, but that's why you like John Bolton so much. So
true.
Obviously, we'll do this we'll do it at the beginning. Why not? You guys should, of course, subscribe, share this with friends, share it with your. Charles already shared it with his mom, but you guys need to share it with your mom too. Hi, Miss Blain. It's Miss Blain, right?
It is.
All right, Miss Blain. Thank you for being our favorite fan. And set up notifications. We are talking about a few things today, more than a few, I'm sure. We got Trump endorsing, was it Covey?
Covey.
Covey. Covey. Covey. Okay. Trump endorses Covey. We got baby mammoths are found in the permafrost. James O'Keefe. I guess it was kind of a big deal, right? Charles has some things to say about that. Austin, Texas had a whites only and blacks only meeting planned. And Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they're a thing. Did y'all know that?
Yes, all the middle-aged conservative men on Twitter are upset about it. So yes, I did know that.
I'm a middle-aged conservative man on Twitter that is not upset about it.
Okay, maybe not all of them.
Are you middle-aged? When does middle-age start? Right?
35.
No, shut up. Stop it.
The average life expectancy is like 70-something years old.
Yeah, but middle ages doesn't mean it's in the middle of the timeline.
It means you're in the middle of the age in which you will die.
People are going to tune out because they know that you're wrong and I'm right, and they don't want to hear us argue about it anymore. All right, let's start with James O'Keefe. So he did, everyone knows James O'Keefe. He's with OMG Media now, no longer Project Veritas. And he did, I guess he honeypotted someone in the White House. I think that's what happened. Charlie Krager, a cybersecurity policy analyst and foreign affairs desk officer in the executive office at the White House. And I think they went on a date. And James O'Keefe, looking like an absolute snack, who can blame him? Got him to admit to quite a few things. I can share my screen here so that we can kind of see a little bit. But there was something that I think was extra interesting in this. So we got, they're discussing Biden is definitely slowing down. And he's just saying what he's heard, whatever. But no one in modern history has ever said, like, we're not going to renominate the president for a second term. So that's why they have him running still. And they also said, let's see, he told O'Keefe, I had a meeting with Michelle Obama. Someone asked her, will you ever run for office? And she said, no, emphatically. She was like, I've seen all this shit. That's not a way to talk, Miss Obama. I've seen all that. You're a former first lady, as Charles likes to say. I've seen all this shit my husband has had to go through, and that does not interest me. Also, Kamala Harris is hemorrhaging black staff. She can't keep black staff. They quit on her en masse. She will be the vice president nominee, and they want to talk about removing her. So, yeah, I don't know what part of that do y'all want to start with? That should I have shown James O'Keefe? Do y'all want to watch a little bit of video or no?
I mean, I don't know that there's like a specific good part. We could just talk about it.
Let's talk about it. What do y'all think? Is Michelle Obama? Y'all still think that she's running or no?
Well, first of all, I think they all say they're not going to run ever. They all say that.
Private meeting.
Particularly in a private meeting with some low-level staffer. He said he was an intern at the time or something like that. Like, come on. She's not going to tell this random guy. And he's probably sitting in the corner, and she's not going to say that. And who knows when that meeting was? It could have been 4 years ago. So I don't give that any credibility. And I also don't give much. And another reason I don't give it credibility is because this guy is like the head of cybersecurity, and he's running his mouth. on a date. Like, so can you really trust what he's saying about Michelle Obama? So no, I don't give it much credibility there. But all the other stuff I do, because it's stuff that we've been hearing in the kind of ethos.
I'm not going to play it. I just wanted people to see that this is what this is the guy, and the cybersecurity expert. He kind of looks like he'd be into cybersecurity and much more. And then there's James O'Keefe. Look how good he looks.
And although, can I, you're head of cybersecurity for, I don't know, you took it down, whatever he is.
Sorry.
And you're sitting here at this like very open table in a restaurant, just running your mouth. Like anybody could be walking by or sitting next to you, or clearly have a camera sitting 2 tables down. Like, what are you, an idiot?
So,
well,
a couple things on this guy. Like, it's first, O'Keefe Media Group tends to exaggerate the titles of these people to get more clicks. They're saying the head of cybersecurity. This guy's clearly not the head of anything.
Right, fair.
Yeah. He's a policy analyst and foreign affairs. They give these titles to people to make them feel important in politics, but this guy is clearly exaggerating his role within the White House, and he's not the head of anything from my point of view, for all the reasons you guys pointed out. Second, all the things he says in this little date, they're all things you could have learned from media reports. He doesn't have like any really good nuggets of intel other than his meeting with Michelle Obama when he was, quote, an intern, where she was asked if she wanted to run for president, by whom. And like, that's just not, I don't know. I didn't find anything that he said to be very like revelatory. And I think it's clear that this guy's on a date. He's trying to impress the snack, James O'Keefe. And he's talking shit.
Well, so you guys keep saying that he's not the head of anything, but he is on this gay date, so he might be getting some head on something. And, you know, I don't know. Is it not revelatory? Is it not? You could have learned this from media reports, but it is something. It's another step, you know, more serious, I think, when you have someone, you have the video of someone talking about it, right? And they're in the cybersecurity policy analyst and foreign affairs executive office of the president. I mean, see someone on tape rather than just, you know, in writing, and you're not, how did the media spin it? How are they giving an exact quote? Are they giving all the context? Right. And in this, we have the context that he's on a date. And is he blowing smoke to make himself sound more important?
I'm sure. I think some of what he's saying is noteworthy, maybe newsworthy. Not because it's new, but because it's being said by someone who actually works there. And I think the fact that he's out here talking about stuff that allegedly happens inside the confines of the White House is probably noteworthy in and of itself, because like those people were supposed to not do that. And so what he's saying is kind of interesting. It's noteworthy. You think like a couple blogs would pick it up, maybe some, you know, online news outlets. I don't expect the New York Times to write like an expose on it, but it is interesting. I don't think. So when James O'Keefe teased this the day before, he put out this long thing about how, you know, he's lived a good life. And if it's coming to an end after he puts this out, you know, so be it. He's not suicidal. However, he's prepared to die if that's what it takes to get the truth out there. And I really thought we were going to get something big. I was like, this is for you to go, because he's put out a lot of good stuff before. Like he's put out a lot of good stuff. And so you would think he's able to take the temperature of these things. And so for him to come out and put out a statement like that, to then drop this, I'm like, I mean, the stuff he put out last year about that like middle school or that elementary school where he was on a date with the principal who's talking about how they bring drag queens and stuff in, that was more like explosive than what came out of this one. I mean, it was the guy was talking about how they bring in sex toys and things like that. Like that was crazy. And then he comes out with this after this massive statement. I'm just like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, this is quite the. Did y'all hear that sound?
Yes.
Yes.
Damn it! I have my Telegram open. I don't know what goes through or not, so I'm gonna close Telegram. Yeah, here's his tweet where it's, you know, as Charles described it, it's basically a eulogy. And, you know, people familiar with the story coming out tomorrow keep texting me, asking me about fear. I've taken the time to write a careful response, and it's a little overblown. You know, it's a little much. I'm not suicidal, but I'm also not afraid to die. Hell yeah, brother.
I mean, same, you know, like same.
Same, bro.
I was having that conversation last week, how I'm like, all right, dying. Not because I want to, but because I've come to terms with, like, I've lived a great life. God forbid something happens. It's out of my hands. Like, I don't, it is what it
Dude,
is.
you're 34.
No. I mean, like, if I'm walking outside, I get hit by a bus. Like, I'm just saying, like, I think things are great, but like, I'm also understanding of the fact that, like, if this is it, I'm still very happy with the things that I've done and accomplished and stuff. Don't want to die. Just FYI, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I've kind of come to terms with it, and I'm not afraid of death.
Yeah, maybe that was part of my lack of enthusiasm about this, because I am a big fan of James O'Keefe and the work he's done. But it was that we read that eulogy, and I was like, oh, this is going to be big. And then it was kind of a flop to me. I would put the odds at Biden running at less than 50. So
What about Kamala?
Kamala.
As president, running for
Oh,
president.
I mean, you think she's gonna? They can't get rid of. I mean, one of the arguments is they can't get rid of the first black woman vice president, no matter how unpopular she is. Apparently, also with her black staff. What are they going to do about that? Do they pull in Gavin Newsom and have a white man president again and a black woman vice president? Do they pull in? Not going to happen. Michelle Obama. And have a black woman president and a black woman vice president?
My perspective of Kamala Harris is that she'll do whatever she's told.
Ooh, damn.
I think she likes the proximity to power. At this point in her career, she has accomplished being the first black vice president. So, you know, I don't think she has any misgivings that she'll ever be president. Like, I would hope she doesn't think that that's the case. And so, yeah, I think she's just going to do whatever, like, is for the good of the party or whatever they tell her to do at this point. I still think that Michelle Obama is a viable alternative that they might go with. Who knows? But if it's Michelle Obama, they're not going to have Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris on the same ticket.
Why not?
I don't know that the country is ready for that, honestly.
What, 2 black women in the White House? What are you talking about?
I don't think the country is ready for that. Like, I don't think the country is ready for that.
I don't think you're ready for it, Charles. I think that maybe
I'm fine with it.
Revealing just a little bit of your own personal.
What I'm saying is, I think you would see some of the most ignorant, racist comments you've ever seen in your life if it were 2 black women who were up there. I don't think culturally the country is ready for that.
Give me an example.
No example.
What do you mean? I can't think of one. Can you think of one, Charles? Maybe one that you've already thought of. I don't know.
Nope, haven't thought of any. Empty head up here, nothing.
Oh, all right. You're really teeing it up with that one. All right, so that's James O'Keefe. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Looking forward to his next revelation.
I mean,
yeah, just don't give us the melodramatic spiel in advance of it. Just drop the video and call it a day.
I don't know that we would have been talking about it if he didn't do that. I mean, we shared it in our text thread. Like,
it's true.
Yeah.
O'Keefe is what is he gonna reveal?
Right. Did we? I don't even know. Did we even share? Oh no, you did send it when it came out, and then we didn't even talk about it because it was just kind of like, all right. I didn't think we had a conversation. It was like,
I got distracted from all of Michael Searle's John Bolton texts, so I apologize.
Oh, just to be clear, I'm not a big fan of John Bolton.
You're messing up his reputation here.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm sorry. I have to apologize to the audience now. I'm not sure why Michael is lying like that. We took an oath before we started this podcast to always be truthful and maybe upset some people. And I think Michael, maybe this is just a bridge too far. He doesn't want to upset people that much. So let's talk about Trump endorsing Covey.
Yes.
Let's do that. I don't know who Covey is. So you guys got to help me out here.
David Covey.
I think.
David Covey is a guy from Orange County, Texas. He was the chairman of the Republican Party there. Been a long time activist. Him and his family are very involved with a number of conservative organizations across the state. I mean, David Covey's been involved since before I moved here. I mean, I've always kind of heard of him or known him in some capacity.
Where?
To Texas.
For some reason, I thought you were born here, but you're from the Northeast.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
I don't. Why you say that? Like I've read your family's
Christie.
The greatest state in the country. Wait, do I look like Chris Christie?
You think New Jersey is the greatest state, and you think Houston is the greatest city?
Yes.
in Texas.
Well, probably in the
Oh.
Anyway, we're distracted from the topic at hand. So David I don't believe he's currently chair of Orange County GOP. That was previously. He is now running against Speaker Dade Phelan because of everything. And he recently garnered the endorsement. He had the endorsement of Paxton. Now he got the endorsement of Trump. And so kind of the conservative wing of the movement is lined up behind him, whereas, the establishment wing is obviously behind the speaker. It's shaping up to be an interesting race. And I didn't pay much attention to it prior to the Trump endorsement. I mean, I did pay attention, but I think when the Trump endorsement came down, I was like, wow, that's different.
Yeah, they just raised the stakes because I was looking at it and was like, we just got done with the Dutton Money HD2 race, and Money had all the endorsements. He had Abbott, Pax, he had everybody endorsing him. Well, not everybody, and he lost. So I was like, oh, 0 for 1. And now you're going to say that you're going to take out the speaker with his war chest with Covey, but now Trump is now in the mix.
Yeah.
Which for Republican primary voters, especially if Nikki Haley decides to take it to Texas, which I don't think she will, but if there's a lot of Trump energy going to the polls, that bodes well for Covey. I think he's got a shot. I don't think it's foregone conclusion.
I agree. I'm sorry.
No, please agree.
I was going to say, I agree, especially because you've got Trump on the ballot. Like, it's not even just like he's on the ballot. People are going to go and vote for him because they love him, especially in that area. And I would think they're going to be like, well, somebody's going to be pushing his endorsement in their inboxes, whether it's him himself or whether it's David Covey, whatever. And that's something, I think you tie those two things together. I think that counts for a lot. And it'll be interesting to see if Trump does more. I mean, I guess he's got to come in at some point before March 5th. So does he go to Beaumont? He had rallies in Beaumont before out in that area. Does he do it again? That would certainly mix things up. So really curious to see what happens. And I do think that it's a real race.
Where is Orange County, Texas? Is that in California?
It is near Beaumont. So like near the border of Louisiana, down that way.
Okay. Down,
Gold Triangle.
Up that way from you.
Over that way.
Over from us, up from you. You're in Houston. That's north.
Up, and you would take 10 east. So that would be east.
Look at a map.
Plus, isn't Trump polling at like 90% in Texas?
Last I saw.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
Well, I'm going to show you guys here in a second. Nikki Haley, she has some interesting notes that she wants to share. But can y'all help me understand? I'm going to just come out and say it. Dade Phelan, I don't know why everyone is so up in arms. I know some of it. I get it. Like they're upset about the Ken Paxton impeachment. They were upset about him. I guess, was he drunk on the floor? I don't know. I don't think he was. But all this. Why is Dade Phelan such an enemy, a monster, a nemesis for so many Texas Republicans?
Oh,
I can take it. The speaker always is.
For Texas Republicans, he's always a nemesis.
He has been since Joe Strauss. They're never conservative enough, and there's a lot of collateral damage, which is people are right to be upset about. Taxpayer-funded lobbying doesn't pass. A number of things don't get through the legislature, and the person that they view as responsible is the guy that controls the House, which is the Speaker of the House, because that's where it's not getting through. This conservative stuff is getting through the Senate. It's not getting through the House. And he's chosen to keep Democratic chairs, which I'm like, dude, just give him that. And such an easy win.
What do you mean? So give them that, like, don't give Democrats chairs, like give the Republicans,
give the conservatives that.
Yeah.
They didn't get school choice done. They had the Paxton impeachment. I mean, we go through the list of conservative priorities that didn't happen, and who's going to be the scapegoat? It's the speaker. And this happens every session. It doesn't matter the name. But this time there is unique energy with the Paxton impeachment behind the opposition.
Now, why do you think, I mean, this question goes for both of you. Why is the Speaker of the House, why do they do that? I mean, you say it goes back beyond Dade Phelan. So it's not new. He's not unique in this. So maybe it's something to do. Maybe it's just a string of bad picks. Or maybe there's something unique about the office.
Why do they do what? What's the question? Like,
why are they the nemesis? Why do they never get anything? Like, why don't they get the conservative priorities done? Are they not real conservatives? Are they not conservative enough? Are they crypto Democrats? Are they being bought up by George Soros? I don't know.
I'm going to give you my guess, and Michael can give the right answer. My guess is a couple things. One, I think when you look at the House, I mean, you do have 150 members. So I think the across the spectrum of like Republicanism, you're going to have a wider spectrum than you have in the Senate. And then when you look at that, coupled with what I think, and I think a lot of people think this, that the Speaker and to the Lieutenant Governor to some extent, that they view but I think the Speaker more so, not just the Speaker, any Speaker, views their role as protecting their members, that they then go to these great lengths to, because we see this in Houston, we used to see this in Houston, where the mayor had all the power. Instead of making them take tough votes that the council, that would be used against the council members, the mayor just wouldn't bring something up for a vote. Or he would frame it in such a way that they didn't have an option but to vote for it to give them cover. And so, that was his way of protecting the council members. And I think you see that in the House, where they attempt to protect the members, and protecting the members sometimes might align with what the voters want, but I think a lot of times it does not. And so when you have those instances where protecting the members does not align with the voters want, you end up with this clash, and it puts the Speaker in that position of being the bad guy, because that's what his attempt is. And I don't think you should be focused on protecting members. I think you should be focused on protecting the not protecting, but pushing forward the will of what people want, what they sent you there for. And then I guess you protect the members because you need their votes to become Speaker. So I don't know, but that's just my guess.
Yeah, I think there's two factors. One, there's a legacy factor where it's like it's always been a bipartisan state where you have to work with Democrats to get things done. And in the post-Trump era, bipartisanship is frowned upon. So that's one factor. The second thing is, in order to govern such a large body with wide-ranging opinions on things, you kind of have to govern to the center. It's like the only way to really get things done. And the conservatives want him to govern to the right, but he's going to, it's not realistic in many cases to govern to the right. They think he can just wield his speaker power and force all the moderate Republicans and moderate Democrats that he needs to pass things out of the House to just accept the conservative priorities. And while I want that to be true, I don't know that that's realistic.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, Charles, are you right? Is Michael right?
Probably. I mean, I didn't think I was right. I was just guessing. So
no, I think you guys both had great answers. So good job. You both get
well, what do you think the answer is?
I don't know enough about that issue to give a good answer. I don't know. I have no idea. You guys gave great answers. I'm gonna give y'all kudos.
Thanks.
Well, here's a question for you, Charles. Of the last 3 or 4 speakers, who's the most conservative?
Oh, that's a tough. I mean, let's see. Okay, 3 or 4. So we had, let's see, Strauss, Bonin, Phelan. Who am I missing?
Oh, just those 3. Of those 3.
Those 3. I guess, and I don't know if this necessarily makes them more conservative, but I'd guess the most conservative legislation has come under this under Phelan, I would guess. I mean, because I'm thinking back, and granted, I moved here in 2014, so it's not like I was like really steeped in the Strauss administration, but I do distinctly remember him like prohibiting a lot of good conservative legislation coming through. I remember that same conversation during Bonin. Then I think in recent years, we've seen the heartbeat bill. We've seen property tax reform, which some say it's the largest in like the history of the world, which I don't think is the case, but okay. Property tax reform, some more resources to the border. Obviously, it's still a massive issue. They saw the HB 2127, however you feel about that, reigning in the local governments. I mean, and so you've seen a lot of things like that have come through. So whether that makes them more conservative or not, I would say that I think the more of the conservative interested legislation has come through under the Speaker.
How about a little bit of trivia? Huh? Can we do that? So Tom Craddock was the Republican Speaker of the House from 2003 to 2009. Then it was Joe Strauss, Dennis Bonham, and then Dave Phelan. You guys already knew that. I'm not telling you anything new. But Tom Craddock was a Republican. Before that, it was all Democrats. how many? When was the last Republican Speaker of the House before Tom Craddock? Any guesses?
1873.
I have no idea.
Wait, with that, am I right with that smile? Like, I just randomly
Oh
pulled a
man,
number
I'll
out.
say 1870.
I just randomly guessed a number.
Fuck, Charles.
Wait, seriously? Get out of here.
William Henry Sinclair, Republican Speaker of the House from May 10th, 1871 to January 14th, 1873.
Oh man, I don't even know why I picked that. What's his name? William Sinclair.
His name is William Henry Sinclair.
All right, that's my new favorite speaker then, since I just guessed that.
He has quite the mustache. Okay.
And he was born on Halloween.
How do you? I mean, you're looking it up.
Yeah, I just did now.
No, you cheated.
No, I didn't. I literally just Googled it. That's why I asked for his name again.
You don't type that fast. Let's look at this real quick. Nikki Haley, just because I wanted to share this note, she says that Americans want a choice in this election, not a rerun, and she's overwhelmed by all the kind words. We'll keep working hard to make you proud. Look at that handwritten note.
From Mary A.
Mary A. It's so good. And then this one, a real email. They just left the subject blank and she still got it.
I want a Nikki Haley handwriting sample to compare to this first letter.
Gosh.
Oh, that's like, that's a font on Microsoft Word or something.
Yes. I love how it's Mary A and Michael B. Like, how creative. It's just like very creative.
Michael B and Mary A. Okay, so maybe she makes it all the way to Texas. She's got the backing.
Oh.
So of the people.
Did we of those two people at least? Are we done with Trump endorsing that guy? It's a big deal. Is the final note? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely a big deal. I think that's the only House. That's the only House race he's weighed in on so far, right? Or am I mistaken?
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's a huge
I don't know. Actually.
Okay. Don't quote me.
Do y'all want to go local or do you want to do some potpourri?
Let's do potpourri.
Potpourri. All right. Baby mammoth found in the permafrost. Michael Searle, ready, set, go. Look how excited he is.
This is Charles' story, right?
Well, I mean, it is, but you're definitely more excited. I think it's quite interesting. I honestly, and I'm not even kidding when I say this, yes, I'm all for resurrecting these animals. I know that colossal, I can't think of the full name of it. The colossal place up in, I think it's in Austin or Dallas. They're kind of close to restoring the dodo bird. They're working on the woolly mammoth. They're doing some stuff like that. So this is interesting. But I would really like if they would just take like a little sliver, just a sliver, and like somebody try it, like just someone, just eat it and see what it tastes like. Why would you not?
Delicious.
Like, see, I mean, you can't eat the whole thing. Like, just take a little something and just try it, because I'm sure people eat elephant somewhere, and so why not try a little bit of it? But I do think this is really interesting. This like resurrection biology thing. The folks at Colossal say that they're doing this because they want to obviously restore these animals back to their natural habitat, and they think that it's a way to help climate change. I think so.
Well, before Michael goes off, I just want to say, so this is, from Twitter account creepy.org, whatever. I'm not saying it's not real. I'm sure
you can find there are articles of it.
Yeah, I know it's not. But it says a whole baby woolly mammoth was found frozen in the permafrost of northwestern Canada, the first such discovery in North America. The mummified ice age mammoth is thought to be more than 30,000 years old. Now, why? And I'm going to pitch this up to Michael Searle. So, how did they find it? It was frozen in the permafrost. Is the permafrost melting? And Michael Searle, why are you such a big supporter? Why are you such a big believer in climate change?
Because the answer to the second question is easy. Because the climate's always been changing.
Oh,
so the answer to the first question is yes. As the permafrost recedes, they're finding remains of woolly mammoth and all sorts of crazy things, not just in North America, but in Russia and things like that. And my question, the thing that I'm more excited about this, other than cloning them, which is exciting, is how do they get frozen? They found woolly mammoth with undigested food in their bellies, frozen. solid. And there was this guy who did an analysis of how cold it would have to be to freeze a full-grown, multi-ton woolly mammoth before it digested the food in its stomach. It's like some ridiculous temperature. I would be speculating as to what it was, but it was like negative 400 or something. And this guy is like somebody who does industrial freezing of meat for shipping it all over the world.
Jeffrey
He's like,
Dahmer?
you would. Not him. So what was the climate circumstance that would lead to a full-grown mammoth or a baby mammoth freezing before its body degraded or it digested the food in its stomach? That's crazy.
The digestion of the food in the stomach is obviously it very much more of an open-ended question. How can that possibly be? That would have to be like a flash freeze, 400 degrees. Like right away, everything's just frozen. But a baby mammoth, freezing, it looks like there's some degradation going on there. But for it to freeze, it dies in a blizzard, and then it just stays cold. And that's what that's what cold does. The way we put things in the freezers, it slows the degradation process, right? And so if it just gets stuck, and then there's no air because it's under ice. Right. So you have the combination of it also being not only being very cold, but there's also no air to, further oxidize it. I'm a scientist. It kind of makes sense for the baby mammoth.
Yeah.
Well, I think they probably just died. And then when they died, they froze. Like they fell on the ground and froze. Right. Like I think that's probably what happened. I mean, I don't know how they died. Maybe something in the air and then they just like fell on the ground. But I think once they hit that ground, and their body's like on the ice, they can freeze. And the winds at the north and the south, like when you get up there, are just so cold that like they're bringing in snow and ice and so fast. And they're bringing in snow and ice that I can imagine it would freeze it. One of the things I found interesting is reading the article about this woolly mammoth. And when they found it, it was a miner who was mining and he like found it. And so they put it in like they were in the Yukon. So I guess there's like no museum around. So they just like put it in a walk-in freezer and we're like, let's just leave it here until we like, figure out what to do with it. It's so interesting. Have you
guys heard about the Alaskan boneyard guy?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm aware of him.
So there's a lot of this mining. They're finding mass graves of mammoth, and there's interesting. So back during the Ice Age, there were two. I can't remember the names of those. The Laurentide ice sheet and another ice sheet on North America, and right where they merged, there was like this green passageway where the mammoth were, and that's where his property is. It's like right there between where the ice sheets used to be, because yes, blizzards and cold, but like if a mammoth is living, presumably it's living in circumstances where there's food for it to eat. So not just frozen ground, but there's got to be grasses and things like that for it to eat. So it's interesting that they're finding just mass graves of them, which suggests a mass killing of mammoths due to climate, some change in the climate during the end of the Ice Age, which is the part I'm interested in.
It's quite interesting. And I'm really curious to see Colossal bring some of these things back. I would love to see, I'm not really too excited about the dodo bird, but if they can do that, then that means that they have unlocked a ton of doors about what they can do moving forward. And so I'm really excited to see them do that. And I believe they're working with the country of Mauritius now to, they've got
what?
Mauritius? Yeah.
I've never heard of the country.
Oh,
I think.
Well, they're working with the country to reintegrate the dodo there once they get it alive.
Well, yeah, I guess it'd be kind of cool to have a woolly mammoth in the San Antonio Zoo or something, right? I'd go see that. But
you'd have to wear a parka.
Why?
Because
in San Antonio,
it would have to be inside a cold facility.
Would it? You've never met one. How do you know?
Well, we know they lived in the North and South Pole. There are other mammoths that don't live in the cold, but woolly mammoths have the wool because,
Some say Michael Searle's a mammoth.
Bigfoot.
Never know.
He's a very big person. Very tall.
This is true.
All right, well, let's get to some local news, and it's local only because it pertains to Austin, but this happens all over the country, so I think it's worth talking about. KXA, this is from KXANnews.com. That's a local NBC affiliate. Austin Parks and Rec Department apologizes after planned segregated racial healing meetings. The city of Austin's Park and Recreation Department apologized after sending out an email that alarmed several workers. The email, sent on January 25th, titled in part, Healing from Racial Trauma, told people to attend one of the two meetings, one for people of color and one for white people. A PARD, that's the Parks and Recreation Department, employee sent cakes in the internal email that came from someone who recently started as a PARD Equity and Inclusion Coordinator. And it goes on. So, maybe should I do this real quick? And I think, let's do that. And then we'll do this. And then we'll click share. And let's just.
Parks and Rec Department is apologizing after sending out an email.
I saw her. I just want to say I met her in person a couple weeks ago. And she's as beautiful in person as she's on TV. So I just wanted to do that real quick. So.
Oh, that's okay. That was it.
You want to watch a 3-minute Cakes and video?
You put it up. I thought that's why no, I don't. But
she's very attractive.
Okay, I agree. I just thought you put it up because we were going to watch the video. I didn't know that you just put it.
No, it's not. It's not worth hearing from her. It's just worth.
All right. Well, this story I only found out about because Michael took out his pitchfork on Twitter and rallied.
Sorry, I accidentally pressed play when I was exiting. I'm sorry. You only saw this video because what? Or this story because what?
Because Michael took out his pitchfork on Twitter and was rallying the gang to go burn down the city of Austin over this. So let us know your thoughts, Michael Searle.
This is a clear signal when things have gone too far. You have intentional racial segregation by a 24-year-old. Queer mujer who sent that email.
What is it?
And
you don't speak Spanish?
Oh, I didn't know he was like, I thought that was like something. Anyway, go.
It's in her bio. But
okay.
This is a signal, folks. That
what's her name? Can you tell me her name?
No. I'll find it after I make my point, and then this is a signal. It should be in that news article.
Okay.
It's a signal that we've let the progressives go too far. We have an email directing people to segregate based on race to racial healing meetings. And then 3 employees, all who are Black, are the ones complaining about it, feeling offended that we would do such a thing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was Black employees that I guess raised their pitchforks first. Charles was not Michael. I think her name is what? Jonessa Munoz?
No.
No? Okay.
Magali Arredondo Lopez.
Magali? What kind of name is that? That's not a real name. That's fake. So you say that, I'm going to push back you. It's a sign that progressivism has gone too far. Yeah, I think that's correct. But what is progressivism? What is its purpose?
That's the wrong word.
They're
not progressing. That's not progress. That's regress.
Yeah, this is clearly a regression.
This is not to them, and you know that's not true. That's not what they believe. You disagree that it's progress, and you can point to the dictionary definition of progress all you want, and they will turn that definition around on you and say, yes, we are progressing because this is about racial healing, and racial healing is progress.
Yeah, I'm not in the business of debating with people who've who are out of their minds, let's say.
You are
segregating
on the podcast with me.
Yeah. Segregating people based on the color of their skin is backwards.
Yeah, I don't get how it's racial. I don't, and I know that's not your argument, Brad. I just don't understand how they argue that is racial healing. Is there something to be said to be in community with people who share similar life experiences, much of which are based on your skin color? Sure, I can see that. But would you go to something that forces forceful segregation based on that? No, I don't think that's in. I don't understand that. That's crazy. Similarly, we see it. Thanks, Brad.
Right. Calm down.
This is similar to the colleges that were doing their separate graduations, the Black and everybody else graduations. And it's for what? For what? Why? For what is this going to do? What is me working for the city of Austin and going to a meeting with only Black people going to do? What is the purpose of this? What is the outcome? How is that better going to help me do my job? and I don't think it will. And you see these just crazy ideas that that are infiltrated, that people use to infiltrate like local government and other stuff. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, I think the point is that they get to air their grievances in a safe space, right? And I don't know what sort of grievances Parks and Recreation Department employees have, especially racial grievances, especially against each other. And I don't know how separating them, even putting them together, is that the right play? If you have a white and black meeting, I guess a normal meeting, is that the right place to be airing racial grievances?
I don't know. Why don't you go to HR? Like, I think that's the place to do it.
The way I read it was not like specific workforce grievances. It was like feelings of racial, or like feelings of racial discrimination in our history and all that stuff. Like that's what we're talking about, or they were talking about, from my understanding.
Michael slipped and said we're.
They were discussing. Which no, the Parks Department is not the Parks Department is not the appropriate place to be hosting those meetings.
Where is the appropriate place?
People can elect to build a community of folks of this, same or different races and talk about these things amongst friends and family, but like mandating it for employment and like segregating people in the workplace, I thought we got over that in the 60s.
And what happens if you're mixed race? I mean, like really, and you look a little too dark, you'll probably go with the black people. You look a little too white, you'll probably go with the white people. But what if you're just kind of straight down the middle? Or what if you're, Asian, black, Hispanic, and white?
Is yellow bone, is that a derogatory term?
No.
Okay. I don't think it is.
I've never heard that.
Yellow. It's when it's a lighter skinned black person, correct?
Well, it is, but typically, so yes, it is. But black people use red bone, and then yellow bone. I don't know when that started, but it did at some point. But typically, for lighter skinned black people, it would usually lighter skinned black women would be called red bone, and then somehow it changed to yellow bone.
I wanted to connect to our younger audience by using correct, cultural terminology. So, if you're a yellow bone, right, which meeting do you go to?
Yeah, I don't know that you should use it.
What?
Are we in another one of these?
Dang it.
I mean, I think it's fair. I don't know. Like white supremacists have adopted that. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah, I mean, and I have no idea why. They just like co-opted it, but it is a word that has been used. So yes, I don't think it's right. Like,
whatever. I'm joking. I'm not. I don't.
No, I know. But to your question, yeah, I don't know where they would go either, and I don't think they know.
Well, I think Barack Obama set the precedent.
He was the president.
No, he set the precedent. Give me a call, Charles. He's half white, half black, and he's our first black president. Right?
Yeah, well, that's not him setting it. That's always been a thing. Like the one drop rule. That's always been a thing, that if you have a little bit of black, you are black. But lately it's kind of more if like you look it. Okay. I don't know. I feel like we've gotten more racist as a society lately. I don't know.
We're separating each other based on race. So
yeah,
it seems like that is the case, and it's not my fault. I'm here trying to educate myself with a black friend of mine about what terms are okay and not okay. Right?
We should make this a segment on each show each week.
We should have a segment, Brad's racial education. And yeah, until I'm full, until on the inside, then I can maybe. How would I feel? Am I still white after that education? I don't know. Can I Rachel Dolezal?
She did. So yeah, she did. So did Sean King. So might as well.
Oh damn! You don't think Sean King's black? I don't think he is either. But it's.
I don't think so. I thought we proved that, but maybe not. But I don't think he is.
Well, I mean, he still maintains it. I think we're getting off topic a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I think it's. I think this is what progressivism is, because progress has to progress somewhere, and it's not. We are already a we don't have any segregation now. And as they find more things to progress towards, this is the ultimate logical conclusion to all of this. And it's only going to get worse. Yes, it's going to get worse. It's going to get.
Is it the logical conclusion
for progress, for progressives? What do you think?
I thought the trajectory was colorblind society.
Well, you got it wrong.
When did it change?
I mean, probably
last year. I think. It does feel like it changed in the last like 2 years, where we want to go like this full circle back to, because like you see a lot of this stuff, not necessarily instituted like you're seeing in government, but you, like we mentioned before with the separate graduations, there's a lot of stuff I see on like Instagram of like black only like trips, where like a bunch of black people go on trips together and it's like only for black people. And so there's like a lot of stuff like that are popping up in different areas, and some of it has existed, but I think seeing it kind of move over into this sphere of like, this is a place of employment. Not only is it a place of employment, but it's a government place, and we are going to now separate you by color. I think that's like an extreme, and since we're clearly there, I don't know how we go back from that. Like, I just don't, because they're pushing and pushing and pushing. And sure, they stood down in this instance, but I'm sure in 6 weeks we're going to see another something pop up like this.
Yeah, this started with intersectionality, and that started decades ago, right? So if you're it wasn't in the mainstream, but it was certainly in the universities and in academia, and crept its way, the long march through the institutions. And the intersectionality says that if you are a white woman, then you are more, what's the word? Why am I blanking? Help me out here. Fuck.
Privileged.
Yes, there it is. Privileged. You are more privileged than a white black woman, right? You're both women, but the black person has less privilege. So the black person's what?
You said a white black woman.
Yeah.
What?
You said a white black woman.
Was that? I was thinking of the Obamas. I'm sorry. So, so a black woman is less privileged than a white woman, and a black handicapped woman is less privileged than them, and it intersects in all these different weird ways, and that's where it started, right? So, and that was progressivism. That's everything from feminism to all the other isms, right? Progressivism. It's progress. That's what they are progressing towards. And the logical conclusion to all of that is more separation, because they, me as a white man, I have the most privilege, is what they tell me. And therefore my voice is already heard. And that is true because we're on the BCM podcast. So it's heard throughout the world. But in an official setting, my voice should be last because I'm already heard, and my interests are already represented. Right. So it is the logical conclusion to all of this. It didn't start recently. It started a long time ago.
What is the next step?
I mean,
good
black nationalism, white nationalism, Asian nationalism. I don't know. I'm not saying that I want it. I'm just saying is that the next step? I don't know.
I don't know. It's psycho, but I'm the most privileged class, so I get what.
The next step is equity. The next step is equity. The next step is communism. That's the next step.
We're already at equity.
No, not full equity, right? When you see like the city of Austin, I'm sure the city of Houston does this as well. You see it at the national politics as well. You're talking about, climate equity, right?
Yeah.
And everyone always wondered, what the fuck is climate equity? What does that mean? And what it means is that they have to implement programs, and they will keep implementing programs until across the board, across all races, there are no longer any more disparate outcomes based on climate from race to race.
This is one of the theories I heard that's interesting, is like, this is just one of the results of too much prosperity. Like, these are the things you think about because you're so comfortable. But I want to back up and just say, I'm open to the idea that there's systemic racism. We've talked about that. I'm open to the idea that the criminal justice system overly punishes people of color. I'm open to all those things. I just don't understand why the response is, let's discriminate against people based on race to address discrimination based on race. It seems counterintuitive and backwards. That's where I'm lost.
Because those are white institutions, according to them. Those white institutions have implemented systems that, disparage against black people, for like the criminal justice system, right? That's a white institution that harms black people more. And believe it or not, the Austin Parks and Recreation Department is a white institution, according to these people, right? And so they have to come in and take it over from the inside. And then they have to have these separate meetings because they're white institutions. And if you have black people in a meeting with white people in a white institution, then maybe black people's voices won't be heard because of some, whatever imaginary rules that they think they have at the Parks and Recreation Department.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just the next step is what doesn't make sense to me, but we can move on.
It's communism. That's the next step. Oh, anyhow, Charles, do you have something to say?
Well, I was going to say you're not wrong, but I think the answer is simply have one-on-one HR meetings if that's the problem. If you're afraid to say it in front of your colleagues, then this is ridiculous. But I do think, like Michael said, there are instances, even with, I wouldn't call it climate equity, but I don't know what they call it. It's not like pollution equity, but there's documented, and it's here in Houston as well, like a lot of poor minority communities that sit just on the outskirts of the ship channel that get all the pollution that comes from all the factories and stuff like that. So you do have things like that, and they were pushed there because of redlining and unable to buy property in like a nicer area. So you have vestiges of that. But yeah, I don't think the solution is to then punish people today for ills of the past. It's just to make right what was done wrong. And I think they're just going to such an extreme to right those wrongs.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I didn't think that we would get that deep into it, but we did. Way to go, guys.
I'm gonna get us canceled off YouTube.
What?
I'm gonna get us canceled off YouTube.
Why? You didn't say. Anyhow, so let's see what else we got. We got the Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce conspiracy or the enhanced games. Pick 3, 2, 1, go. Taylor Swift. All right, we got Taylor Swift conspiracy. Someone recap it for us.
So Taylor Swift, pop icon, and Travis Kelce, football icon, are dating. And people are upset about it because they keep showing Taylor Swift at these football games. And in general, the media apparatus has been very focused on their relationship. And so we've been hearing a lot about it. And people are getting increasingly frustrated. And I think also a reason we're hearing a lot about it now is because they were heading towards the Super Bowl and the Grammys at the same time. So I think there was like a lot of interest in boosting them up. But now people are mad because they think that there is some sort of conspiracy here to have Taylor Swift endorse Biden, and that's why they're propping up this relationship so everybody can see it, so then it can help Biden win, even though we already know that she supported Biden in the past, so it's not like it's something that's hidden, just like most pop stars support Democratic politicians. But there's this weird conspiracy theory surrounding it, and they're saying that this is like she's a plant, and this relationship is fake, and all this stuff around it, and it's absolutely psychotic. And you also now have conservatives who are very mad about it for one reason or another, and I don't understand why. Go on Twitter, and you have a lot of many middle-aged conservative men who are very upset that they showed Taylor Swift for 15 seconds on a football game. But really, my thing is, listen, you have a young woman who, given the state of most pop stars, would be considered rather modest in comparison to some of the others. And this guy who is exceptionally good at football and clearly is not problematic that we know of. And they fell in love and they're happy. And, if they get married and have kids, it's probably going to start the next wave of a baby boom because you have that whole generation who's saying they're never going to have kids. And now you're going to see them as a couple to do it. And so they're modeling a good relationship and they're not really anybody's issue. And so I don't understand why people are so upset about it. But people are quite upset about it.
Are they modeling a good relationship?
I don't think they're not. What's wrong with their relationship?
She's a professional pop star that probably travels 350 days a year, and I guess she goes to his games and that's cool, I guess. But she also ran through 100 dudes and sang a song about every single one of them. No, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm what?
That's okay. I keep hearing that commentary too. Nobody knows like what happened between her and these guys, other than they dated and she wrote a song about it. Who knows? Like that's
You don't
it.
think that they slept together?
They probably did. I don't know. I wasn't there.
I'll send you videos. They did.
I'm not in. What are we talking about?
Taylor
Her body
Swift.
count? Who's to say her songs aren't about the same guy and she just put different names on
Or
them?
who's to say that she just hasn't dated people and has been upset with the breakup and wrote a song about it? Like who's to say? The songs are not sexual in nature, I don't think, because they're played on the radio. So they must be like PG.
No, she's saying WAP, so it's pretty sexual.
She was
I don't care how many guys she's slept with. I don't care. She's a grown ass woman. She travels around. She writes songs about it. All of that is fine. I'm just saying, are they modeling a good relationship? I don't know. I don't really see that, but maybe. And he's a pharma stooge. That's their complaint about him.
Oh, that too. Yes, I forgot about that.
Mr. Pfizer.
Yeah.
Is he Mr. Pfizer? Like, I haven't seen the stuff, so I don't know.
Aaron Rodgers called him Mr. Pfizer because he got paid $20 million to do those ads.
Oh, geez. I'd do it too. $20 million.
Do I have to get the shot?
If I don't, yeah. Like, if it's not contingent upon, please. Okay, so the conspiracy theory is that she's propping up the Democrats, he's propping up Big Pharma, and that's why their relationship. And listen, it's not uncommon, a PR thing, for people to put together two stars and create a whole buzz around them. Not uncommon. So it's not unbelievable to think, but it's also kind of crazy to me because, like, she doesn't really need it. I don't think he necessarily needs it that much. I mean, he got a $20 million deal for this commercial, apparently. So how much does he need it? And I don't know. I think of course she's going to vote for Biden.
Maybe they need it or not, doesn't really matter. Look how much they benefited from this. We're talking about it on this massive podcast.
But how much have they really benefited from people talking about it?
Can I ask a question?
NFL benefited.
Yes.
There you go.
NFL benefited. I don't think Taylor Swift has financially benefited from it.
My question was going to be actually who's benefiting from this? It's the NFL is trying to drive up ratings. These are common PR stunts. And who's to know? Maybe that is genuine. Maybe they do like each other. Maybe they will get married and have kids. I don't know. But what I'm going to love is when the 49ers kick some Kansas City butt and the whole conspiracy goes away, because that's what's going to happen.
When was the last time 49ers won a Super Bowl?
1995.
That was the last time they were in a Super Bowl?
I was 9 years old.
He's been waiting for this ever since.
We've been we went to the Super Bowl in 2012, but we lost to the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh.
Okay.
That was the last time we were in the Super Bowl.
I'll take your word for it.
I don't know that this is going to be your year, Michael.
What?
Sorry.
You don't think it's
not with trailer out there. I think it's gonna. I think.
All right.
Will you be watching the game in the Castro, Michael?
No, I'll be at my house.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to watch the game in the Castro. That'd be fun.
Would it?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of great places to watch it in the Castro.
I'll tell you guys about the last Super Bowl, which happened to be in 2012 on my birthday. And anyways, I'll tell you about that offline because it's not appropriate for the show.
Oh gosh darn.
That's a good story then.
All right. Well, we're about to break an hour here. I mean, I think we have a couple more minutes. Let's just touch the enhanced games. So the enhanced games is, I guess, like a doping Olympics, kind of. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, doped up Olympics. Yeah.
Yeah, where the athletes, kind of sounds like a game show. They get to use performance enhancing drugs. Now, I think it's kind of cool. It's interesting that they have they push this really heavily on their website and all their marketing. They're backed by billionaires like Peter Thiel. I don't know why that's important. I guess because maybe people trust billionaires, that they know how to pick good investments. Is that why they're pushing it? I don't know. So they encourage enhancements. They embrace capitalism. They are going to break world records, and they pay athletes fairly. They're not going to do ball sports or team sports, which I thought was interesting.
So what does that leave? Like just track and field?
Well, I mean, there's track and
Weightlifting.
field, there's aquatics,
Oh.
there's gymnastics, there's combat. They're going to do MMA. I don't know if you want performance enhanced MMA fighters fighting each other. That sounds like you're going to get someone killed.
Somebody's
Yes.
going to die.
Someone's going to, okay, whatever. I guess like if you have a death wish, you know, I can imagine going up against, give me a famous MMA guy, one of the best. Give me one.
Conor
Anderson
McGregor.
Silva.
Who's better, Silva or McGregor?
Who would win a fight
Yeah,
in their prime?
sure.
Silva.
Okay, so Silva, right? You got Silva in the ring, octagon. Sorry, I've watched it before. I promise. In the octagon, and he's been taking performance-enhancing drugs, steroids, whatever else for the past 2 years in preparation for this. You're gonna die
Yeah.
fast, and you don't even have to be a professional athlete to do this. Like anybody's welcome to do it. Like
Well,
not you have to try out, right?
What's the purpose? Like, why are you creating an agency? Huh?
Entertainment.
Well, yes, but like, I guess what is the purpose of like? Are they just mad that against anti-doping rules, and so they want to create an outlet for people who like really like to?
I
dope?
think their argument is that athletes already do it, and it'll be. But
Transparent.
we'll just let them do it. We're not gonna. Athletes already do it, but they get around the rules. Like they'll stop doping, like 3 months before the test or whatever, try to clear out the system. And in this case, I guess what they would do is say, yeah, dope away. We don't give a shit. We just want we want eyes on the TV screen. And if you are breaking world records, we're going to get that.
Are you really breaking a world record if you're cheating?
I'm sure that there'll be an asterisk by your name.
Also, I feel like this is the same mentality of like the San Francisco policy of like, they're going to do crack anyway. Let's just give them crack pipes and heroin needles. Like, I feel like.
I mean, those people are, these athletes presumably have sponsors. They're not living.
No. I know. I'm just saying the same mentality of like, they're going to do it anyway. So let's just like provide them the avenue to do it. But I don't know that that's worked that well in that avenue. Maybe it'll work better here.
So I have an idea. Since we're just shooting for eyeballs, and somebody's already going to die at some point doing this, why don't they just get a huge juiced up guy to fight a bear?
Hell yeah.
People would watch that, like a middle-sized bear, not a full-grown bear, because that would just be bad. But like a
black bear,
a teen bear.
Teen bear. That's a good movie.
Teen black bear.
There's this guy. He's a rocker. His name's Alex Terrible, and he's from Russia, and he fights bears. If you go on his Instagram, you can see him fighting a bear.
He does not fight a bear.
Yeah, I'm telling you, go out here. Oh,
that's a trained bear.
Well, yeah. It is a trained bear, but like they're fighting.
Trained to lose.
Yeah, but like, no, I'm talking about like
an actor one from the
trying
street
to kill him. Yeah. This bear is not. This bear is playing.
They're hugging.
They're fighting. Anyway.
Well, just bring back the Roman games.
Since we're going back in time, let's just
tigers.
Progress.
Yeah.
Fill the stadium with water. Have a full naval battle. Why not? Gladiators. Let's do it.
I mean, if we brought back like gladiators, I think people would really want. That'd be quite interesting.
They are bringing back gladiators, and it's called Gladiator 2, the movie.
Great.
So I was surprised they're bringing it back. I think it comes out this year.
That'll
be a little while, guys. Is it still in the? I know this is your favorite word. Is it still in the zeitgeist? Gladiator. Do you want to do that again? Do you want to wrap it here?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys. The BCM podcast. We got Charles to the top left, Michael to the top right, me, Brad on the bottom. We have all of our X handles in our names there, so go follow us. We also the show is also on Twitter, so go follow us there. Like, subscribe, share with friends, family, and I think that's it.
Give us feedback.
Give us comments. Tell Charles why he's wrong.
Which I'm not, so I'm sorry we won't get many comments on that.
All right, guys. Thank you.
See ya.